played in a couple of years as a solo show, so bear with me. I was trying to think about what would be a nice, what do I want to communicate to people these days? Like what would be a nice thing to do? And I thought that it would be nice to try and put us all in the mental space of being in the Don Valley. This place where both Michelle and I have spoken about a lot. And we actually had this kind of like standing sort of conversation about like, we have to meet in the Don, we have to meet in the Don. We never actually made it. So this is kind of it, us meeting in the Don here all together. So I actually brought some little readings, and I'm going to sing some songs that I feel all kind of link up to the Don for me. So let's see how it goes. And I shouldn't say this, but I have like a 1 and a 3-year-old, and I've been up since like 4:30 or 5. And so if I seem sleepy and out of tune, and the songs are bad, and you don't like the lyrics, I blame the kids.
Probably should keep them up that.
Okay, let's see. So this second song is called Pichi, which is the Anishinaabe Moen name for the robin. I think it sounds like the things they say. I happened to get recently this thing of Anishinaabe bird names. I thought this would be a good time to mention a few birds that are in the Don Valley that I've seen there. One is the crested cormorant, the double-crested cormorant, which is a gagagishi, which gagagishi is the name for common raven, and sheep is part of the word for duck. So this name is describing the raven-like color of this bird and its duck-like behavior. I've also seen a red-tailed hawk, which is Mesquiwananisi. Mesqua describes red, related to the lifeblood in our veins. The an portion speaks to the force responsible for change. When Mesquiwananisi changes direction, the tail is where the change comes from. In this way, nanansi is the word for tail. American crow, andeg. An is referring to change that has occurred. Ika is the cold. So when crows play together in the springtime, that is the sign of a seasonal change taking place. The maple sap is running and the cold days are over. And then one last one. I haven't seen this, but I've heard they're there, and I'm always looking for them. It's a scarlet tanager. Apparently they used to be really common in all across Toronto. And I know someone who saw one even in Queen's Park recently. So that's Ishgod de Binishin. Iskode is the word for fire. This name denotes the unique red that scarlet tanagers have that contains tones of orange. So Iskode de Binishin is the bird that looks like fire. So here's Pichi. Actually, after a tune. Called by the voice of barking jail. What am I supposed to say to that? And your fashions change in shape and sound. What am I supposed to say to that? Thank you. There's a fire in the woods tonight, and I think I'll let it go. See the blazing orange light and a phosphorescent glow. It's amazing what a flame can do. But the main thing is the light in you. There's a fire in my home tonight, and I think I'll let it go. See the blazing orange light and a phosphorescent glow. It's amazing what a flame can do. But the main thing is the light in you. There's a fire in the woods tonight, and I think I'll let it go. See the blazing orange light and a phosphorescent glow. It's amazing what a flame can do. But the main thing is the light in you. These are some new songs that it's the first time I'm playing them, so it's kind of fun. They just all happen to be about things that were suitable tonight. Wind and fire and water and all that stuff. So, and I should say also I'm a scientist that studies lakes, so I think about water a lot. fire that ebbs and flows, and the ashes in their wake fertilize the land and lakes. And the wind it changes too, like the water's green and blue, doing what it has to do, takes the mind of me and you. As the wind goes through the trees, maybe we can live with ease, living in the here and now, even if we don't know how. Thanks. All right, another reading. So this is kind of a cheat, only kind of though. So my friend Todd is here tonight, and this is, I'm going to play a song that he really likes called Go Wild next, but it's a song about trees. And I thought it'd be nice to, and he also lives in the West End, close to Hyde Park. This is a little book of plants in Hyde Park, but I say it's only kind of a cheat because it's a Carolinian forest plant that I'm going to read about, which is also in Don Valley, so I don't feel too bad about this. So the tree is sassafras. Let's see if I can actually read it here. So, plant personality. It's a very handy tree for making root beer and gumbo. Scratch and sniff that bark, roots and leaves, and it will remind you of root beer. Sassafras roots were the original flavoring agent. Filet powder, famous for seasoning and thickening Cajun gumbo, is made from the dried leaves. Root beer and filet are First Nations inventions. Identifying characteristics. Sassafras is unique in producing 4 leaf forms, all on the same branch. The shapes are oval, 3-lobed, and mitten-shaped, conveniently for both left and right hands. Men's size medium. Thus the name mitten tree. The distinctive fruits, like miniature dark blue eggs held in tiny red egg cups, ripen in July and August. Relatives. Sassafras is one of a kind in North America. Its closest relatives are cinnamon and camphor, fragrant trees native to Asia. Valuable or invasive. On the one hand, without regular ground fires, sassafras becomes very densely populated in Hyde Park. Its unusual spread shaded out and inhibited the growth of oaks, rare grasses, and wildflowers. The slopes where it occurs eroded due to the lack of understory plants. Therefore, it is controlled by prescribed burns, cutting, and herbicides as a last resort. On the other hand, sassafras is at the northernmost limit of the Carolinian forest in Hyde Park, so it's a rare tree in Canada and important as part of the savanna. It's one of the hosts of the spicebush swallowtail butterfly caterpillar that is now rare and uncommon in Hyde Park, rare to uncommon in Hyde Park. The management practices hope to restore sassafras to the original scattered copse formations. Medicinal uses. The roots and leaves were brewed as restorative teas by First Nations, who, not unsurprisingly, used the aromatic bark as a breath freshener. Hidden talents. Sassafras's essential oils, saffron, both attracts and repels. Its scent, soaps, and perfumes, but it's banned for food use in North America because it's possibly carcinogenic. The aromatic bark, fruits, and twigs are food sources for many mammals and birds, but insects like mosquitoes, mites, and ticks are repelled by the scent, and that's a good thing. So here's Go Wild. She said, go wild, she said, go wild, she said, go wild. She said, go wild, she said, go wild. also kind of fun because like there's things I can do now that I couldn't when I'm practicing this at like 10 o'clock at night with 2 babies sleeping upstairs. So it's also an experiment. What's next? Oh yeah, another reading. I don't know if anyone here is familiar with Charles Soriol. Charles Soriol was a writer who used to live in the Don. That first song that I wrote was kind of about him. He would write about spending his summers down. He would leave his winter home in Toronto and go and spend summers down in the Don Valley. And his home was destroyed down there when they built the Don Valley Parkway. But this is, and there's a Charles Soriol Park. And I think his work was influential in starting the whole Toronto Region Conservation Authority as well, a lot of the work that's happened. And so the next song is also about, it refers to a journal I read of his a while ago. He talked about like, finding this bee tree in the valley that was, it's like something out of, what is it, Winnie the Pooh. It's like where you find like a tree that was just full of honey, like from top to bottom, and it had all these bees, and he'd never seen one before, and it was the last time he'd seen one. They're really rare now, I guess. But I'd read, this is a book of his called Trails of the Dawn. I figured I'd read a couple little things. By and by we came to a trestle over a spur ravine, where we left the railway, climbed down the embankment, which is where I learned about the spring. Its waters were held in a wooden box and were delightfully cold. Over the years I drank many times from that spring, where quenching one's thirst was something to look forward to, even in winter when we stopped there on our return to the city. The spring is still there. I relocated it and hoped someday to hold its waters in a wooden box, just as I had first known it. To me there was a fairyland aspect to the woods along which we walked from the spring. A trail led past cedar groves and maple trees alive with autumnal colors. Not having seen a woodland before, this scene filled me with rapture. We came to the creek, which meandered through the creek ravine in a most pleasing manner, amid the riot of purple asters and goldenrod, to which were added the yellow, red, ochre, and purple tints of the hardwoods, in contrast to a cobalt blue sky, which I remember as if it were yesterday. Fallen leaves made a shuffling sound as we passed through them. There was the smell of cured leather and the distant cawing of a crow. Here was what I had wanted since earliest childhood days. The creek that meandered crystal clear over stones, which sheltered crawfish or shoals of minnows darting here and there through the clear water, or idling in quiescent pools with the calm poise of fish in a fishbowl. We came to what I called the island, a formation where the creek flowed in 2 separate currents joined by stepping stones. There was a large stone along the creek shore where I sat for an hour or so, letting my feet dangle in the cold water, marveling at the freshness of this new experience and the beauty of the day. And I'm just going to jump forward to one other spot, which is one they built. No, that's it for that one. That's Charles Soriol. star leaf song. Thank you. So this is where the dawn takes kind of a dark turn. This is a book, Reclaiming the Dawn, by Jennifer Bunnell, a friend of mine, an environmental history of the dawn. On 31st of July 1958, Princess Margaret visited Toronto as one of many stops on an official tour of Canada. Her visit sparked weeks of wrangling by civic politicians about the proposed route of her tour through the city and the duration of her exposure to various publics. In her highly choreographed visit, the princess was to arrive at Malton Airport, today's Pearson International, late on the evening of the 30th of July and meet briefly with dignitaries before traveling by a special train into the city. She would, quote, spend the night aboard the train in a quiet spot in the Don Valley between Rosedale and Don stations. At noon the following day, her train would pull up at a siding in Riverdale Park, where she would greet the public and assembled school children from a footbridge over the Don River before carrying on to City Hall. Among the concerns of local residents and politicians alike was just what Toronto she would see from her rail car, and what impression of the city she would carry away following her brief visit. Responding to City Council's last-minute frenzy of tidying in preparation for the royal visit, a Toronto Daily Star editorial admonished, quote, the mayor and other officials of Toronto have good cause to be ashamed of the filthy condition of that section of the Don River, along which Princess Margaret will be driven to Riverdale Park. With belated zeal, they have rushed a crew of laborers armed with rakes and pikes and disinfectants to tidy the ground and sweeten the atmosphere, that Her Highness may not learn how Toronto has befouled one of its beauty spots. Another little nice spot here is about the opening of the Don Valley Parkway. At 2:30 p.m. on 3rd of August 1961, Gardener and Premier Leslie Frost officially opened the first section of the parkway from Bloor Street to Eglinton Avenue. Several hours later, the parkway experienced its first traffic jam. With only 2 interchanges at Bloor in the south and Eglinton in the north, the intermediary Don Mills interchange was not approved by Metro Council until 1964. The 2-kilometer stretch of roadway backed up quickly in periods of heavy traffic. Narrowing from 3 lanes to 1 at its northern terminus, traffic had nowhere to go but onto busy Eglinton Avenue, already congested with its own rush hour traffic. In the words of one reporter, it was, quote, a 5-minute trip to Dreamsville to Nightmare Junction. I thought you guys would like that. So this song is called Will Turns Green. And oh, there's a wind that comes home when you call out its name in a dream. But oh, you don't know what I've seen when the world turns green. Oh, you don't know what I've seen when the world turns green. Thanks. Okay, I'm going to turn it back now to like a bit of a lighter note. I'll stop talking. Made our escape. Drove for 1,000 miles back home to the lake. Under the sky, under the passing clouds of a summer storm, I could have sworn that we were never gone. Under the passing clouds of a summer storm, I could have sworn that we were never gone. Thank you. I looked into your eyes, I'm looking out the window. I'm looking at the sky to see which way the wind blows. We barricade the doors and go into the basement. You might be the one. You might be the hunter. You might be the one. The wave that takes us under. We listen for the sound, we listen to our heartbeats. And then it goes away, there's nothing left but darkness. You might be the one. You might be the thunder. You might be the sun. The wave that takes us under. Thank you. I'm gonna just do one last song. There's an app called Seek that's on my phone where you can point at something and it'll tell you what it is using, I don't know, AI or something like that. It's kind of neat just to identify plants, but I realize that it has this function where you can look in the maps and you can like pick an animal and then see who's, like it's mapped out across Toronto, so you can see who's seen what in the city. And so I looked and made a list of all the reptiles and amphibians that have been observed by Torontonians in the Don Valley. Here we go. Eastern red-backed salamander, green frog, American toad, gray tree frog, common garter snake, Decay's brown snake, painted turtle, pond slider, eastern milk snake, threatened, northern map turtle, threatened, Blanding's turtle, endangered, ring-necked snake. That was it. But I thought as a last song, I would do, it's more like a cautionary note on kind of an optimistic thing, I guess. It's a song called Itchy Fingers. I lived in Utah for a little bit, for a brief bit, before I went back to Toronto. And I had a garden there, and I got really excited about it. I'd plant all these things in the fall, and then we'd have winter coming, and I was like, I had itchy fingers when it was spring and the snow was starting to melt. I was like, oh, I'm gonna like dig out all those plants so that they can feel the warmth, and this song's just about that. Springtime is a time to remember things that came through winter's cold. The itchy fingers seek to expose plants to sudden spring. Won't you sing this song with me? Won't you share this warmth? Put your leafy hand in mine and be warm. Be warm. Well, don't you know the sun, winter did not go. It's freezing up again. The happy plants I freed from the snow have met their final end. Won't you sing this song with me of what impatience kills? Put your garden out of mine and be warmed, be warm. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for letting me enjoy the rest of this festival. It's really best that experience.